Creek Football Show, presented by Julian Peeples Funeral Homes. Now, here's your host, Tony Crossen, with head football coach Drew Carter.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Coahulla Creek Football Show, presented by Julian Peeples Funeral Home. I'm your host, Tony Crossen, and with me this week, every week, is head coach Drew Carter. Coach, this past week, we traveled down to Bremen to face the Blue Devils, and we came out on the short end this time and had a long road trip that night, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a tough trip down there. Anytime you got a long road trip like that, it kind of tests the maturity of your team.
Right.
And obviously we failed that test. We ran into a really good football team, so you got to tip your hats to them.
Right.
We knew going in they were a disciplined group, they were an opportunistic group, and they were a physical group with some good running backs, and that they were really a tough defensive bunch, and they proved all that true. And we didn't do a real good job answering the call going down there and kind of let things slip away as the game went on.
Yeah, we talked before the game about how they're going to throw some extra offensive linemen in, and their game plan is always to control the line of scrimmage, and they did that from beginning to end. And, you know, we had some opportunities in there to make some things happen, but it didn't pan out. It's kind of like what you said. We kind of got out physical at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we, they came out fast and had a really good drive to get ahead 7-0, and then we kind of gridlocked there for a few series in the first half, and we couldn't capitalize on. We got a turnover on defense, couldn't capitalize on that. Had a couple other good field positions, and we just never could get it going offensively to put any pressure back on them. And then we get the safety, and then at that point they scored right before the half, and then that kind of is when things started to unravel for us.
Yeah, and that's a long road trip to make too. And when you don't get any momentum or anything going your way, it's kind of hard to peel back from that. Everything just kind of starts taking effect on you at that point in time.
It did, yeah. And at that point, you got to hope that your guys are just going to respond and play hard.
We got to hope for some breaks too, like you said. And we had that opportunity.
Yeah. But we, I feel like in some places we did, in some places we didn't. And I feel like we had the same conversation, back towards the beginning of the season when we let that one get out of control against Northwest and got beat pretty handily there. We responded pretty good in the coming weeks of correcting those mistakes and what our energy level was. So I hope we can do the same going forward after this one.
All right, time to regroup.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and take a few minutes, and we'll talk about some stats at this point in the season, and just kind of highlight some guys and some things going on with the team.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Tony, looking at some stats here, recapping some stuff.
At this point in time, we're 4-4 and 3-2 in the region, correct?
Yep.
And 3 games could have went either way.
Yeah.
It's tough losses, but we are where we are, and we got to move past that and look to the next game.
Yeah, and as you mentioned in the region, there's a reason why we're kind of stuck right there in the right in the playoff hunt with some of the things we're doing on both sides of the ball. We're second in points and points per game coming in to this point in the season, averaging just under 26 points a game going into last week. And then defensively, kind of right there in the same place, second in the region, where we were at 19 points a game we were giving up. So doing some things to put us in position to be successful. And then
we lost 3 games by a total of 6-7 points maybe. Around there. Yeah. And defense has played well all season.
Yeah, keeping us in games, creating turnovers, and giving us short fields. So, and then as we go down, looking at what we've got here in some individual stuff. Offensively, Chase Ford ranks right at the top of the region in total offense. As we scroll down and look right there, he's over 1,600 yards going into last week of total offense, a little over 200 yards a game of total offense, and we've talked about so much how good he is throwing the ball and with his feet and provides so much for our offense and for our team with that.
Right, just opens the whole offensive playbook up.
It does. It puts a lot of stress on the defense.
And that's 1,600 yards total before the Bremen game?
Yep. That was our updated going into last week. Looking at some receiving stats there, Keith Collins has got the best game thus far this year in the region with 11 receptions against Gordon Lee a few weeks back. That's the tops in the region. He also ranks number 1 with 26 total catches in the region. for 267 yards. And we can kind of go down right here. Several of our guys are showing up on that. Nate Tilley with 15 catches, and he's towards the top with yards, as you can see, with 337 yards this season.
22.5 yards per reception.
Yep. He's taking big chunks when he does get those opportunities.
That's called big plays.
Yep. And then you can see Mark Solis with 14 catches coming into last week. So a lot of guys showing up there on the offensive side with the stats. And then, the guys that we don't talk about that, Chase is able to do what he's able to do on the ground game and throwing the football, and these guys making explosive plays on the outside.
Right.
Our protection this year has been unbelievable. Yeah. The sacks that Chase has taken this year have been when he's really been extending the play.
Yeah, and you talk about when you're looking back at our offensively that we've moved the ball in every game. Except a couple of games.
Yep.
But we've moved the ball and we've had opportunities to score touchdowns and just don't get it in there, or things happen and we just can't finish the drill.
Yeah. Like we've said all season long, some inexperience in some spots, or where we get a penalty or a turnover. But other than that, it hasn't been for the lack of ability to make blocks and make plays. It's been there. But those guys up front have given us the opportunity to do it, and fortunately for us, several of those guys are going to be back again next year. You got Chevy Joyce, who's a sophomore, Isaac McGill, who's a junior, Mark Lopez, who's a junior, Jackson Millsaps had to jump in there and play a good bit this past week against Bremen, who's a sophomore.
Right.
Of course, you got the lone senior, those guys, Alex Gagne, who's a steady force there, but they're giving us some opportunities on the offensive side of the ball.
And getting that valuable experience every game.
Yep, you were right about there. We'll slide over to the defensive side of the ball right here, looking at tackles and tackles for losses and those kind of things. That's where I think that we're showing up. We got some guys that are making tackles for loss. Levi Lowry's tied for third in the region for tackles for loss. He's got 8 on the season, which I know that's no surprise to you.
No, he's been wearing it out up front, making big plays when we need them. He's always, it seems to be chasing around that guy in the backfield or making people change direction and always causing some kind of havoc.
Yeah, he's so quick off the ball and he's always been disruptive, like you mentioned. And then we got several guys ranking up there towards the top with sacks. Karen Bradley's got a couple on the season. Chevy Joyce has got 3 on the season, and all those guys are doing a good job. We got several other guys that's got 1 or 1.5 on the season that aren't even listed on there. But that's kind of our team. We're by committee, by team, not a ton of just standouts.
Right.
One guy's going to go get 15 sacks, but they do a good job of being disruptive. And then we can keep going down the list right here. Got Tyler Douglas with a couple of interceptions showing up there. Keith Collins, I know, has a couple, and then he added one Friday night against Bremen.
It's not been updated.
Yeah, so we've got some guys doing some things there, and Tyler actually, he had both of his in one game, so that's tops for the region. Nobody's done that in our region this year.
We had any interceptions ran back for a touchdown?
Haven't had any defensive scores with that this year, no. Hopefully that'll change here in the next couple of weeks.
All right, let's go ahead at this time and we'll take a break. When we come back from commercial, we'll go ahead and have our senior spotlight. This week we'll take a look at our offensive lineman, senior, number 54, Alex Gagne.
Nature never repeats itself, and neither does Mohawk's Techwood hardwood flooring. Techwood is unique and one of a kind. Your floor should be long-lasting and beautiful, like the relationships you create at home. Choose Techwood for a stunning, natural hardwood floor for everyday performance. More moments are made on Mohawk.
Whether you're looking for a taste of classic seasonal sweetness or need to satisfy your candy cravings, DQ has something for every fan this season. So hurry into DQ on Cleveland Highway today and see what else is in store for fans all season long.
Now for this week's Senior Spotlight.
I'm Alex Gagne. I'm number 54. I'm a senior and I play right tackle and nose guard. Probably beating Northwest sophomore year. That felt so great. It really did. Watching Alabama football in kindergarten, I was like, they're laying the smack down on these guys. And I was like, Dad, I want to play. So I started in first grade. Probably Coach Holliday, when he got really mad one time. He said, son of a motherless goat. I don't know why, it made no sense, but it was just, it sounded hilarious. How they lift you up and how they're always supporting you. Even if you do bad, make a bad snap or something, they're always there to help you. Pro wrestling. I like to jump off the top rope every once in a while.
All right. Do you like modern stuff, or you go back in history to like the 90s and stuff?
Ruthless aggression for sure. Attitude Era, Stone Cold. That's where it's at. My father for sure. He was my pee-wee coach. He's been through. He's taught me everything I know. To get a job and just live my life, to the best. The big W for sure on game day, and also Coach E in the back of my head always, telling me, let's go. Dalton State for sure to get my associates, and then transfer to Georgia, to keep my scholarships and whatnot.
All right, so you're going to go be a dog even though you're an Alabama fan?
Unfortunately.
We are the Coahulla Creek Leaders, and you are watching the Coahulla Creek Football Show. Woo!
Welcome back to the Coahulla Creek Football Show, presented by Julian Peeples Funeral Home. Coach, let's go ahead and talk about region standings, opportunities. Like we talked about earlier, we stand at 3-2 in the region, right in the middle of the pack, and we still control our own destiny.
Yeah, we came in last week at number 4 in the region because Gordon Lee held the tiebreaker over us. We had the same record. So we're 3-2 now, and that still holds us right at 4th, which gets us into the playoffs. We won one of these last 2, and I think that puts us in based on what I'm seeing, unless something else real crazy happens.
So we're looking at we got Bremen and Adairsville both undefeated in the region at this point, right? Or they're the only two that have not lost a game.
Yeah, and they play this coming week, so basically that will be for the region title there. If something crazy does happen and Gordon Lee drops the last 2, that could put us into the number 3 spot there. But we got to control what we can control and win one of these last 2 and get us in.
Right. So let's look ahead to this week. We're going to host LaFayette here at home. One of our last 2 games are home games. As far as LaFayette goes, what are we looking for in terms of what can we expect from them on both sides of the ball?
Well, they got a talented physical running back, and they got a big physical offensive line. They try to grind it with him and do a lot of offensive formations to try to kind of make you play in a phone booth sometimes, and got to be disciplined fitting those blocks and force them to make a mistake, because they're one of those teams that's going to have long sustained drives. So we got to force them to make a mistake and then get off the field. And then defensively, kind of the same thing we've seen out in the last couple of years. I don't know if they've kind of backed up in the secondary a little bit, or think their guys are a little better in some softer coverage, but they're not playing as up in your face as much as we've seen in the last couple of years. But they're still in that 3-3 defense where they send a lot of pressures with a lot of different blitzes and movements up front. So it gives you some challenges of what they do. So we'll have to have a good game plan going into that. And
try to get those offensive lineman guys thinking, throwing them off.
Yeah, just one misstep's what they're hoping for.
They're a lot like us. They don't have any big names. They just kind of do it by committee on both sides of the ball, and they try to shake things up and make you kind of guess what's going on from what I've seen.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Right. All right, at this time, we're going to go ahead and hit another break. We're going to come back with our Players of the Week and our Coaches Spotlight. This week, we're going to focus on our running backs coach, Mr. Trevor Thomas. Stay tuned.
Junior's Building Materials, the Tri-State's headquarters with building products for builders, contractors, remodeling projects, and do-it-yourselfers. Junior's is the largest dealer stocking Trex decking, the world's #1 composite decking brand. Trex isn't just boards and balusters, but a new way to live outdoor and virtually maintenance-free. For all your building or remodeling needs, shop Junior's Building Materials.
Junior's Building Materials. We always come through for you.
Your roof is the most critical part of your home, especially in the heat of the summer. That's why OC Roofing Systems is offering free roof inspections all summer long. Families in Ellijay have trusted OC Roofing Systems time and time again for our award-winning service and countless 5-star reviews. Protect your roof this summer. Visit ocroofingsystems.com today and schedule your free roof inspection.
Now for this week's Coach's Spotlight.
Hey, I'm Coach Trevor Thomas, and I coach the running backs here at Coahulla Creek. I guess for me it was the thought of being without the game, I guess. You know, I played the game for so long, and I guess just the thought of not being around it anymore kind of just made me commit to being around it the rest of my life. So I'm not sure if I still have fully transitioned because it's been about, I guess it's been about 1.5 years now, but it's definitely different. You go from one side of it. I remember this time last year, well, a little over 1 year ago, I was transitioning from student player to teacher coach, and it was a huge transition for me. But for me, I think it's remembering that they're still kids and attacking it that way. I'm not sure if there's a category I would put myself in with my, you know, I don't have a lot of experience yet coaching, but I guess for me, the 3 things that I focus on with encouraging kids is energy, effort, and focus. So if we can come out every day with a little bit of juice, some positive energy, and then on top of that, are we focused on the task at hand, and then are we maximizing reps? Are we taking plays off? Can we have full effort every play? I guess for me, I still remember the feeling of playing football and making plays and what that makes you feel like. So I guess when you love football as much as I do and you see other kids having that same feeling that you used to have, it kind of keeps you keep coming back. Oh, it's been huge. That's really one of the main reasons why I'm grateful to be here is because Coach Carter coached me when I was in high school, and then Coach Holliday also coached me. And just to have guys like that who have been around the game, who know the game, and who truly want the best for you, have your best interests, I mean, you can't beat that. Oh, it's got to be the people, easily. Coach Brew, Coach Carter, Coach Holliday, everybody, even the people that are just teachers up at the school, they treat you real good, take good care of you. So for me, it's definitely the people. I play a lot of golf, still working on getting a little better at that. And other than that, I like to spend time with my family, kick it with my buddies a little bit. That's about it. But mainly I play a lot of golf. I think the most fun game that I've been a part of so far was the Northwest game last year. Tough loss, but I don't know. That's a tough one, but I would probably say the Northwest game, even though it came down the last few seconds and we lost on a bad call. But that was a really fun game. It just makes you feel like this is Friday Night Lights feel, you know what I mean?
Back here to my favorite part of the show, where we get to go into the coach's office with Coach Carter, where we look at some X's and O's with our Coach Breakdown presented by Lowry Tree Service.
All right, we're going to jump into some first half action here on the defensive side of the ball. Probably one of the best defensive plays we've had all year. Definitely on Friday night, though. They come out here, they got a 3rd and long situation. They got trips to their right there, open up top. And what we've got here is our 2 shell look defense, and Keith Collins here. he wants to align like he's matching number 3, but he still has responsibilities to the top of the screen there. And we'll go ahead and roll it forward. They're going to try. They think they've got a one-on-one matchup right there, and he's going to come off and get on the hash late. And then as he's getting on the hash there, he sees the quarterback's eyes there, and he's able to open up and get over the top of it. And he takes an excellent angle of getting over the top to where the football's going. And then once the ball gets there, he turns into a receiver, not just a DB, and it makes an excellent play on the ball to turn it around and get us the ball right there.
Welcome back to the Coahulla Creek Football Show, sponsored by Julian Peeples Funeral Home. Coach, as we said, we're hosting LaFayette this week, looking to make that last run to the playoffs.
Yep.
Also, the game's going to be on TV, correct?
Yep, we're the CW game of the week out of Chattanooga this week, so we're really excited about that. So Friday morning things will start getting crazy around campus where they're setting up their cameras and trucks and stuff like that. But it's a really exciting thing because it's a good way to be able to celebrate and get our program and our kids and our community recognized and put it out there, and show how awesome our new turf field is, and how good our student section and our band and our cheerleaders, our whole Friday night environment is. So we're excited about that.
We look forward to hosting those. I know it's going to bring a lot of school spirit this week. We'll try to talk that up at school too. And
we will.
Make everybody excited about it. All right, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us this week. Remember, you can like us on Facebook and see us here every week on our YouTube page. Join us back here this week, Friday night again, as we're hosting the LaFayette Ramblers. Thank you again to Julian Peeples Funeral Home. We hope you guys have an awesome week, and go Colts.